creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Dory.
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Ooh. You know, the ocean is a truly scary place. And to think people crossed on wooden ships, it's crazy.
Most insane trade war has officially begun because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. So what the hell is going on? Well, you see, yesterday Trump's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China officially kicked in. What that means is that any goods sent from these countries to the United States will now cost companies 25% more, or 10% in China's case. So for example, if a Canadian business sent a car to the US that cost $50,000, today US companies will pay a $12,500 tariff at the border. So the price of your once $50,000 car is now actually $62,500. Why would Trump purposefully make things more expensive for Americans? Well, two main reasons. The first is more of a longer-term, unguaranteed benefit, but it would be to change consumer habits to buy more American-made products and incentivize more international companies to manufacture in the US. In theory, that means a stronger US economy, more stable jobs, and less dependence on foreign countries. The second reason for imposing these tariffs would be to use them as a tool to pressure Canada, Mexico, and China into doing what Trump wants. Some of these things that he's publicly mentioned include renegotiating trade deals, stopping illegal immigration, and the flow of fentanyl. There's also the far-fetched idea of Canada becoming a state of America. But here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada has clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted a little differently by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with the United States would hit Canada and Mexico much harder. Trump knows this, and he's using it.
If I'm not mistaken, the US was just matching their tariffs to make it fair. But let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
So all of us have been brought together to try to bring out some of the aspects. So if I may, I have prepared an overview statement based on my work these many past weeks. And I want to just say that as a parent and as a patriot, I'm absolutely outraged by what we're allowing to happen to our children. Humanity is judged on how you treat the weakest member of the society. Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children, these children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them
Oh my
and have no
goodness.
one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse, it's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very
Evil
best.
people.
And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. But I know the system. I've been a spy all over the world. I have created the Marine Corps Intelligence Command. I have trained intelligence and law enforcement representatives, over 8,000 of them from across 66 countries. They're all, without exception, good people trapped in a bad system. And one of the most wonderful things that this court could achieve, now that we've had Pizzagate, for example, which opened people's mind, is we could achieve an opening of the public mind and an absolute imperative from the public to governments, including the U.S. government, which I think is the center of gravity in so many ways. I have found in my research in preparation for this court and all of the work that will follow that most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example,
Ooh.
all of the United Nations organizations,
What?
the Boy Scouts of America,
What?
all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children. And one of our distinguished commissioners has written an absolutely wonderful book called Child Hunters, which I recommend to all of you.
Yep. You know, they killed him. Robert David Steele, former CIA. He refilled too much.
Okay, some tragic news coming out of Germany. For the third time in the space of only around 3 months, yet another car has plowed into a group of people.
Yep.
Police say that in the city of Mannheim, a black SUV was driven into a busy shopping street, injuring several people and ending the life of at least one. They say that we can confirm that one perpetrator was arrested, but they cannot give information yet on whether there were further perpetrators. They also haven't indicated yet whether they believe that this was on purpose, like an attack, or on accident. But regardless, that brings the death toll now for just these 3 correlated incidents to 9, and more than 340 were injured. Wild. So as soon as we know more, I'll make an update.
Europe has to wake up. For real.
Actually looks like you. Me? Yeah. Ah. How can I look
What?
away? Oh my god.
Oh, that's your hand, man. Glitch in the matrix.
Mine, but
Any drugs or alcohol in the vehicle?
no, of course not.
Alright. Sit tight, Sarah. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Your registration is What the? Sarah?
Why does this keep happening only in America? Looks like AI image. Does not look real. Oh my god. AI, please stop it. Wow, that looks real though. I give up, man. I don't know what's real or not anymore.
Michael is gone. Tupac is gone. Prince is gone. Whitney is gone. Amy Winehouse is gone. David Bowie is gone. But I'm still standing.
He seems to have forgotten a few. Jim Morrison isn't gone. Jimi Hendrix isn't gone. Kurt Cobain isn't gone. Bob Marley isn't gone.
What?
And currently, I'm on the hunt for Chris Cornell. A lot of people seem to think that he really is gone, and while I'm having a harder time finding him more than the others, well, something tells me he's around somewhere as well. And if you're coming across my page for the very first time, just go ahead and scroll down and you'll see all these videos like Nelson Mandela being Bob Marley or David Blaine being Prince.
They just look alike, man.
But getting back to the beginning of this post, Madonna. I am working on quite an interesting theory on who Madonna's parents are. You ever notice how much she looks like Priscilla and how much she looks like Elvis? And hey, do you ever notice their resemblance?
Get out of here,
look
bro.
at those eyebrows. Those are definitely hereditary, coming from dear old dad. And hey, Baron and Elvis Aaron Presley, something to it. There's something here, and I'm working on it. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I know that Madonna's mom isn't really Priscilla Presley, and her dad isn't really Elvis. And Baron's dad really isn't Elvis, who is really Donald, and his mom isn't really Diana, who's really Melania. All for entertainment purposes. But I mean, come on, people.
You look like them too. Bob Marley is Mandela? Who is this guy? He's pushing it.
Have y'all seen this video floating around the internet of this man right here claiming that he is from outside the ice wall and he was sent here to be punished? He says that the countries outside the ice wall use the countries inside as an imprisonment. And this dude's terrifying. Like, look at him. But in the video, he's speaking another language, but it says that he's saying that he was banished to our world from his. And that the worlds outside of the ice wall are absolutely beautiful and perfect. Now, if you've never seen this map, it's a flat earther map. These are our continents. This is the ice wall, and these are the continents that are said to exist outside of the ice wall. Many people don't believe in the flat earth idea, but this is a map found in a Buddhist temple in China. It was said to be made over 10 centuries ago and hidden from the government because they were burning all the maps that looked like this. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that man is from outside of the ice wall, or what do you think is going on?
They definitely don't have a dentist outside the ice wall.
Most dangerous food for the liver is not sugar, it's not processed meat, and it's not saturated fat. This food gets stuck in the liver. It's highly processed. It has residues of something called hexane, which is in gasoline. It's rancid, oxidized, and acts like something that can rust out your organs. The last thing you want to do is rust out your liver. It takes like 1 to 2 years to have it leave the body. The more you cook with it, the more oxidized it becomes, the more it creates byproducts that are very toxic to your tissue. The most dangerous food for the liver is unsaturated fat, as in seed oils. They're industrial oils. Seed oils create inflammation, which turns into a scar tissue or fibrosis. Seed oils get lodged into our tissues, not just in our liver, all over our nervous system, in our brains. Please help me understand how you have this very delicate, fragile, unsaturated fat that can be destroyed by exposing it to oxygen, light, and more heat as you cook with it. They can take soybeans, corn, and add chemicals to extract the oil. Then they have to add more things in it to remove other things using high heat. Then they put it in these bottles that are also exposed to oxygen. They're not refrigerated. Stop consuming these seed oils. Replace corn oil, soy oil, cottonseed oil, and canola oil with olive oil, butter, tallow, and coconut oil.
How about palm oil? Is it okay? Because that's what we use here.
I still think that Mr. Zelensky is a dictator.
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Hey, Zelensky has no opposition. How is that not a dictator?
You're telling me cartoon just put the entire medical industry to shame in a 12-second clip. Just watch.
Denied? You're denying my claim? I don't understand. I have full coverage.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hoganson, but our liability is spelled out in paragraph 17. States
I
clearly.
can't pay for this.
I'd like to help you, but I can't. I'd like to tell you to take a copy of your policy to Norma Wilcox on Norma Wilcox, WILCOX on the third floor. Are you saying we shouldn't help our customers?
The law requires that I answer no.
We're supposed to help people.
We're supposed to help our people, starting with our stockholders, Bob. Who's helping them out, huh?
Isn't that exactly what this doctor warned us about?
If you figure out a way to help patients heal, and that way doesn't include a pill or a surgery, well, then the hospital and the doctor are in big trouble, because if you figure out a way to help people heal and you can't charge them for it, well, then you've just worked yourself out of a job.
Which is exactly what happened to this doctor right after he exposed all the crazy health benefits from taking one single vitamin.
I stumbled on this by accident. I was taking this vitamin. I never took it before. Go to sleep, wake up, and I just noticed like all this stiffness I would normally have because of all the injuries to my spine. It's like someone to put WD-40 in my joints. I'm like, why am I feeling so loose? So I'm like, oh, I took that vitamin
What is it?
the day before, specifically in the mitochondria, and it's a precursor to this molecule called NAD. And NAD is involved in over 400 different genes, so it's a really important molecule.
So I did a deep dive looking into NAD, and I found out that it's something the celebrities use and call the fountain of youth. But it's actually something we produce naturally, and as we age, we start to lose it, and by the time we're 30, we've lost 50% of it, and that decline continues every single year. And when we become low in NAD, we start experiencing things like inflammation, fatigue, low collagen repair, and even aging faster than normal. So an increase in fine lines, wrinkles, gray hair, and even joint pain. But by taking the vitamin he was talking about, we can actually replenish our NAD levels back to what they were in our 20s and basically hit the rewind button on all of our cells. And when you look at all the amazing benefits there are to boosting your NAD, it's really no surprise that you know who doesn't want us knowing about it, which is exactly why I did some digging and found something called an NAD booster that contains the vitamin he was talking about, which is NR, a unique form of vitamin B3. But what's crazy is that this company, Roos Research, is essentially just a small business, but because so many people have been raving about this, this is now one of the top selling supplements on TikTok Shop. But I found out why. Most NAD supplements don't even work because they are not liposomal or contain resveratrol. Both of these things are crucial in order for the body to absorb this vitamin and produce NAD. This brand is the only one I could find that checked all of those boxes, so it's really no surprise that this has become so popular and regularly sells out of stock for sometimes weeks at a time. So if you want to start seeing what elevating your NAD can do for you, I'm going to make sure to link this, and if you see the orange cart, that means that they are still in stock, so now would be a good time to snag one.
Thunderbolt! Emmanuel Macron finally responded to Candace Owens, and his reaction is astonishing. His revelations about Brigitte Macron will leave you speechless. Wait, I'll explain everything to you. First, take a chair to sit down. We're going to dissect everything. Emmanuel Macron says to Candace Owens, "Continue to defame my couple. Continue to defame my wife, Brigitte Macron. And what you need to know is that your defamations, your lies, and your episodes are not going to change anything. And she continues to spread this false information. She will be judiciously prosecuted in France because she is not doing it for the good of the French, but to destroy France. But as for Candace Owens, there will not be a third-party information that will not be broadcast. Everything will be revealed. Nothing remains hidden forever. It is time for the truth to be revealed to the French people. All the episodes will come out and shed light on this situation. Say in the comments if Emmanuel Macron can prevent Candace Owens from going through with her investigations and massively sharing the video."
I think Candace wouldn't make this claim without proof. That's not, in her character.
Everyone needs to know what is happening in Greece right now. The country has literally come to a standstill after hundreds of thousands of people from every sector have taken to the streets to demand justice for the country's deadliest ever train crash. All flights in the country have been grounded after air traffic controllers have joined the doctors, lawyers, teachers, train drivers, boat drivers, and 325,000 others across the country in a 24-hour general strike. You see, 2 years ago today, a passenger train filled with students collided with a freight train 57 people. Polls indicate that 72% of Greeks believe that the government is involved in a cover-up of evidence, suggesting insufficient safety measures. And they're mad because 2 years later, investigations are still not finished. No one has been convicted, and a separate inquiry found on Thursday that the safety gaps that caused the train crash have still not been filled. And this is despite 82% of Greeks saying that the train disaster was one of, or the most important issue in the country. The government has denied allegations of a cover-up, and their prime minister has dismissed calls to resign, accusing critics of attempting to destabilize the country. As always, as things develop, I'll keep you guys updated.
It was like 3 million all over Greece. The police is lying.
Your wife is your husband.
Please look at his tongue. The tongue thrusts forward when smiling. Basically, anytime we see Brigitte smiling, you can see her tongue thrusting forward. This is the type of thing you can't control. You can't change unless you start working on it with your dentist or orthodontist from an early age. So have a look at Jean-Michel. He has exactly the same tongue thrust when he's smiling. You can't unsee it. I posted it on my Instagram story and I got thousands of shocked reactions. Hence, I think not many people noticed this before. Obviously, Brigitte already had face feminization surgeries and she fixed her teeth, but the tongue thrust is still there. Like I said, it's not something that can be easily changed when this is the natural way your mouth is.
Wow. Yo, who took that picture? Wilson? Why?
Yo, there's somebody watching you on the back.
Yep.
Where?
Right there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What? Oh, stalker. Oh man, it's right behind you. Oh, run. But I don't get the stalker one. Can someone explain, please?
Pakistan, half of the population gets married to a first or second cousin. And this shows that cousin marriages are still very popular in Pakistan, in South Asia, and even in Arab countries. But when you look into it, there's actually a problem because the chances of having children who have genetic disorders increases. It doubles. Even though it's a small percentage, but it still doubles from 3% to 6%.
Cousins are like brothers and sisters. It's illegal here. You can go to jail.
How much did he cost? Well, this is going to be a long one. Because he is half leopard, the Bullshitus canis catus familiaris leopardus.
That's the dog.
So, first of all, we had to buy his dad, the leopard, from Mont Bullshitus in Asia. He cost us 70 grand on the black market. Then we had to take him to a lab and they had to do the stem cell juice treatment on the XL. That cost us about 30 grand.
30 grand.
I think in total it cost about 110 grand.
I never see someone speak lies so calmly.
Telling me that you see God or evidence of God in math.
Well,
Can you explain what you were saying? And maybe I misread what you were saying.
No, you did not. I mean, I have been closer and closer to God in the sense that because it takes me a long time, I'm rather rebellious. You know, I have to say, damn it, God, you gotta prove it to me. Show it to me, buddy. Just kidding. Oh, I'm sorry to anybody. No offense. But I really say it in that way. You know, you talk to yourself in a sense. But in many, many moments in history of physics or mathematics, things come out. You see, mathematics, you know, is this very pure word that it seems to have no connection to real world physics.
That's right.
It's true, it's a complex number, it's one of them, but it appears in quantum mechanics, right? It's so beautiful. But one of the things that sometimes you see in the equation is so amazing. When you formulate, maybe it's not right, maybe it's this and that, maybe, you know, you doubt yourself. But one of the most beautiful equations was the one that derived by Paul Dirac. He's a professor at Cambridge University, but he retired in Florida, by the way. He died in Florida, Tallahassee. I mean, it's a refuge for him because he doesn't like to talk. He will sit there for 5 days, he don't talk. One day, all of a sudden, he talk. But anyway, he formulated, he's a beautiful man. Paul Dirac, he formulated this relativistic equation of for electrons.
Science is just the study of God's word.
They banned Huawei phones. They were the most sophisticated phones. They were coming out of China.
Awesome. Man,
they were so good.
They was great.
I've told this before. Forgive me if you heard it before, but I tried to buy a Porsche design Huawei phone. It was an amazing phone. It was like so much more advanced than iPhones. It had a bigger battery. It had like 100 megapixel camera. And then right before it was coming out, they put the ban. And then there was all these national security concerns, and Huawei is like spying on Americans, and something about their routers and their systems. They figured out there's like backdoor possibilities that were engineered into these things.
They banned it because it was better than Apple in every possible way. And the price is like 4 times iPhone Pro Max 15. 4 times.
I make you president of the world. What would you change?
I would have little boys educated separately than little girls in the early years. In the early years, I would have boys' schools and girls' schools because little girls learn differently. And also, there's been a lot of evidence to show that in the early years, when you do single gender education, little girls will try things, will take risks with things that they wouldn't in front of little boys, and little boys will try things that they wouldn't take risks in front of little girls. Like little boys are more likely to try art and painting and music. Little girls are more likely to try STEM and math and all these things that we talk about little girls should do. The idea is that single gender education in the early years is better for little kids because they learn differently.
Let me know how you feel about that. Very nice CGI photos. Something real, please.
Have you ever wondered why 4 fallen angels are chained in the Euphrates River, waiting for the right moment to be unleashed? This mysterious event is revealed in Revelation 9:13-15, and it's one of the most chilling and intriguing prophecies in the Bible. Let's dive into what it means. In this passage, the Apostle John describes how, at the 6th trumpet, 4 angels who had been bound at the great river Euphrates are released to prepare for the final judgment. These angels were not just ordinary beings. They are fallen angels, likely some of the most powerful beings that rebelled against God. So, why are they chained? And why are they waiting in the Euphrates River? The Euphrates was a key boundary in ancient times, often representing a dividing line between civilization and chaos. By holding the angels there, it symbolizes God's control over the forces of chaos until his perfect timing. These angels are bound and held back by God until the appointed time of judgment. They are part of God's plan to unleash destruction as the world approaches its end. Their release marks the beginning of a period of intensified trials during the end times. They bring with them devastation and destruction, but it's a part of God's ultimate plan for justice and the final defeat of evil. This terrifying event reminds us that God is in control of both the forces of good and evil. Though these angels are bound now, their release is part of God's ultimate plan to bring justice and redemption. Are you ready for the final victory of good over evil? If you believe God's plan will prevail, type Amen and share this video to remind others of the truth that God is in control of the end times?
God is in control. You know, as we speak now, Euphrates River is drying up. Get to know Jesus, folks. Accept Him as your Lord and Savior.
To hide your money as a millionaire. In reality, you don't need to hide if you protect it. Number one, offshore bank accounts. The most popular but also most dangerous. Use only stable, reliable and low tax jurisdictions. Switzerland, Singapore or UAE. Number two, trust funds. Set up irrevocable trust in Cayman Islands. Number three, real estate investments. Buy property, for example, in Dubai. It will be tax-free rental income and capital appreciation. Number four, cryptocurrency.
Ooh.
Hold digital assets in a crypto-friendly environment. You can use cold wallets or you can set up a crypto company in Dubai. Number five, precious metals. Gold and diamonds don't lose value long term. Your wife will love this method. Number six, second citizenship. There are tax havens like St. Kitts and Nevis, and you can get a passport there for over $200,000 investment. Number seven, luxury collectibles. Buy art, cars or watches. Make sure to use tax-free zones like Dubai. And number eight, insurance. You can use high-value life insurance, and it will protect your wealth. If you want to build your wealth in Dubai and start your company, send me a text.
All right. You know how to hide? Don't get married.
Man, come on.
Wow. So basically, British royal family has everything.
Looks like a straight demon, bro. That guy looks satanic. Look at the eyes. These are demonic spirits they've seen. They had encounters with, and they made idols onto these demonic spirits. How many different gods are there in Hinduism?
Close to like 3 billion.
3 billion gods? Looks like Jezebel herself. Literally doing a ritual. This is literally what the Bible says. Many will serve false gods, many different gods. You read from the Old to the New Testament, people are always looking for more and more gods because they don't have an encounter with the true living God. Do you deal with like a wave of sadness that comes over you?
Oh yeah, sometimes sadness.
I can see in your eyes that you deal with that a lot. I want to let you know that Jesus can heal you of that, to where you don't have sadness and depression.
No.
What do you call God?
We call God Krishna.
Did you hear the voice of Krishna?
So what we have to do is, Krishna is present in his name. This is my spiritual phone and these are beads.
Wow. He healed me of depression. And he healed me of...
So then you can do like some ritual.
I can pray for you right now. And I promise you, you'll encounter the Holy Spirit right now if I pray. Let me see. Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray for my brother, Lord. Reveal yourself to him like you did with me. May he have a supernatural encounter with you, Lord. I pray that you send more Christians. I bind every spirit coming against him, every evil spirit, Lord. And I pray that you reveal peace. Did you feel that? I felt it. You felt that, right? Literally, tangibly. I just felt the anointing transferred to your hand.
This is pretty dangerous to do in India. My man is doing God's work.
The natural face of a cherub is the face of an ox. Therefore, you'd expect when Satan was a cherub, and he had an ox's face. So when Satan sinned, he now seeks worship. What form of worship does he like? He likes the image of an ox. So that's why the children of Israel were provoked to create a golden calf. They're worshiping Satan. That's why in India today, the cow is sacred. That's why in Greece, Athens, Rome, the beast, the bull, was sacred and honored and worshipped. And throughout the world, even today, the cow is honored and exalted to place of deity. When you go to the Old Testament, you read about Baal worship. Baal was worshipped in the form of a bull. And so, therefore, Satan loves the image of the ox, loves to be worshipped in that manner.
We had the Sumerians, and later Canaan, we had the Phoenicians. And the Phoenicians spoke Hebrew. Language is sound. And we get that term, phonics, phonetics, and telephone, from the Phoenicians. Phonetically, these two phrases are the same. And we know that sound is frequency. And the word was God. So if you ignore the phonics and separate these two by definition, then you are deaf Phoenician.
What?
This is Yod He Vav He, but we read it Yod He Vav He, making it completely inverted. And then we started saying Yahweh. They both symbolize men and women. Combining them together gives you this symbol. And then take away the outside. And there you have it, the signature of who did this. The Canaanites claim that they are the bloodline.
But I speak Indonesian though.
In 1953, on the outskirts of Vix in northern Burgundy, a curious archaeologist by the name of René Geoffroy made a mind-blowing discovery. Beneath the chalky soil, the excavation revealed a 2,500-year-old burial mound, and inside there was something that defied all expectations. Within the burial chamber were the remains of the Lady of Vix, a Celtic noblewoman resting atop a ceremonial chariot, untouched for millennia. Yet, it was the treasures encircling her that truly astonished René Geoffroy and his team. As they dug deeper, something else emerged, a masterpiece of Mediterranean craftsmanship known as the Vix Crater. Adorned with Greek alphabetical markings, this huge 460-pound bronze vessel is the largest ever discovered. With a capacity to hold over 1,000 liters of wine, this enormous Greek artifact somehow made it all the way to southern France.
China just discovered an infinite energy source, and they say it could power their country for over 60,000 years. Now, it might sound insane, but that's because it is. China says it's thanks to a new radioactive element they found in their mines. Now, I won't go into huge detail, but this new element is thorium, and China says they can use it to create new nuclear power plants. Obviously, nuclear energy requires uranium, which is quite rare, but China says they can replicate it using this new element, thorium. Now, it's worth knowing, China didn't say they wanted this energy source just for themselves. In fact, they said they can fix the entire world with it and can create infinite energy. They said, quote, "For over a century, wars have been fought over fossil fuels, but it turns out the endless energy source lies right under our feet." Now, if you don't know, this element thorium is actually really common, and it's found all over the world, and it can be used in place of uranium for getting energy. And on top of that, it produces over 200 times more energy than uranium, and it creates far less nuclear waste, and there's far less risk of it going wrong. In fact, because of this, China has started creating the world's first nuclear power plant for thorium, called a molten salt reactor and power plant. And China says this energy plant will be fully functional within just 4 years, and it will help them get fully energy independent. So China's looking at new ways of trying to create energy, and you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.
I think thorium reactors have been around since the 60s.
So the North Pole shifted towards Siberia, and now we're seeing all these plane crashes. What's going on?
You're telling me the North Pole, the same North Pole that's been sitting there since forever, since I was born, since you were born, has now just moved? Just packed up and wandered over to Siberia? And no one is talking about it? Oh, but wait, it gets better. While we're all busy ignoring this, scientists in Siberia have dug up 13 viruses from under the ice. Viruses that have been frozen for, I don't know, centuries? Longer? And one of them is being called the zombie virus. The zombie virus. That's what they're calling it. Now, I don't know what kind of The Last of Us nonsense is happening here, but tell me why this isn't front page news. Tell me why we're not all talking about this. And then you're telling me that all these plane crashes, all these navigation issues, are because the North Pole just decided to move. Like, I don't know how Santa feels about this, but I feel like this is something we should be paying attention to. Have you heard this? Have you not heard this? Because I feel like something is being unearthed, pun intended.
Yeah, I heard about the zombie apocalypse.
Matthew McConaughey just risked everything to leak this, and I'm more shocked at the fact that no one else is talking about this video, because what he says shows the truth of what Hollywood really is, and the fact that you don't really know who to trust anymore. And even though 99% of you won't be able to stomach it, I have to show you. Look, Matthew McConaughey is world-renowned as being one of the most cool people out there. Just an ordinary guy. Regardless if he's won an Oscar, in a war, constant blockbuster hits, still very calm and poised. But when he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, he just revealed something, that the world is not what it seems, and then it's a lot more evil than you think it is. Because on that podcast, he sat there and mentioned he's a very religious guy, but he's also spiritual and also believes in science, a mixture. But then when he talks about when he got his award live on stage, what he witnessed, what he saw, changed his mind forever.
Moments where I was on stage receiving an award in front of my peers in Hollywood. And there were people in the crowd that I have prayed with before dinners many times. And when I thank God, I saw some of those people go to clap, but then notice that, whoa, it's going to be a bad thing on my resume, and then sit back on their hands.
Warlock's kingdom of evildoers. That's what Hollywood really is.
Guys, prepare for war. Global escalation is in turbo. Things are moving fast, way too fast. March 1st just hit us with a barrage of events. And if you're paying attention, the picture is becoming very clear. A major war isn't just a possibility. It's being prepared, orchestrated, and accelerated right in front of us. Let's break it down, shall we? London, the EU, and Ankara, 3 players all moving their pieces in a way that only makes sense if you're planning for large-scale conflict. And March 1st, it wasn't just a busy news day. It was a flashing red warning light. London suddenly hands out $2.6 billion in emergency loans with another $1.3 billion from Australia. For what? A key prisoner exchange and humanitarian corridor shut down overnight. Why now? Turkey starts pulling its troops from Syria and Iraq in a hurry. Where are they going next? Romania, full-scale political lockdown. Coincidence? Or prepping for a frontline role? In Berlin, a rally calling for direct strikes on Russia, not defense, but offense. Austria, a political coup. The ruling party's lost, but they just locked out the winning party and took power away, mirroring what happened with the AfD last week in Germany. It's synchronized. Norway refuses to refuel U.S. military ships. What's happening behind the scenes? Poland is stacking its army along the borders of Russia and Belarus. What's the game plan? And in the Caucasus, tensions are spiraling, weapons are moving, threats escalating. This isn't paranoia. This isn't opinion. These are facts. This is happening. These are actions, and history has a nasty habit of repeating itself. Wars don't start overnight. They're built step by step. The Napoleonic Wars, inevitable from 1789. World War I, the seeds were planted in 1890. World War II, by 1930, the outcome was already written. Now, Europe is running the same playbook. Political suppression, military buildups, economic shifts, the kind of decisions governments only make when they know what's coming next. And the worst part, there's no off-ramp. So now what? Can Trump really save the free world? Or is this already beyond the point of no return? These global elites are playing chess with our lives, pushing us closer to the edge, while most people sit by choosing sides like it's some kind of freaking game. This is dead serious, people. It's existential. Share this far and wide. The big picture is so much more than what's being presented. Let's get the truth out before it's too late.
You know, I'm not American or pro-Trump, but he did the right thing by pulling, out of this war. And without USA, there can be a war.
This may be proof the elites have secret tunnels all over the world.
Go from New York to Brazil, Buenos Aires, and then Antarctica, without ever coming up to the surface for air. And you can do it all at way more than 1,000 miles an hour on magnetic levitation trains, otherwise called maglev. One thing he told me, he went from Virginia to Los Angeles in 45 minutes. Do the math, 3,000 miles an hour. Most people don't even believe that there's a tunnel network. There are hundreds of thousands of miles of tunnels.
It requires literally hundreds of workers to maintain. It's not possible, to keep this secret. What do you think?
Hi. Hey, Jeffrey. How are you? How's everybody doing? Good? Oh, hi. Happy? Carrie. Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I
Pizza again.
I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Yes? Mark? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do. So I borrowed Pharrell's hat, and I thought I'd pass it around and get some money for the pizza because nobody ever really... What do you have, Harvey? 200? That's a
Does
start.
that cover it?
That's a
Oh, it's a
start.
start.
Let's see. What do you have, John? What you got? 20. Kevin.
That's for you.
Thanks so much. Okay. Guess what? Pizza's here.
Hello.
Come on down. I lied. We weren't going backstage. Okay. So we have just vegetables with like tomato sauce. We have cheese. We have different kinds. Who's hungry? Who's gonna eat on this side? Okay. Cheese. That's a cheese. Yeah. Julia wants cheese. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Who do you want to talk to? The whole thing? All right. Great. Great. And then I don't have any money. Who here has? Sandy? Where's Harvey Weinstein? Harvey.
Harvey Weinstein being involved in the joke speaks volumes. They were truly throwing this right in our faces.
The Pope did what now?
Just now, Pope Francis has spent all night screaming at demons who are trying to drag him to hell. The Vatican has confirmed. 88-year-old Francis remains in hospital battling kidney failure, brought on by double pneumonia. But this battle pales in comparison, posed by the beclawed, soul-eating demons from hell. A spokes-cardinal confirmed that the pontiff had to be sedated last night after screaming, "Get these evil bastards off of me," as a portal to hell opened up at the end of his hospital bed, sparking fears the end is near for the leader of the Catholic Church.
Which takes me back to, didn't they just open portals?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And now he says, please tell me that this is just satire. And that he wasn't actually screaming, "Get these evil bastards off me," all while a portal is opening at the foot of his bed. And they were trying to drag him. What? No.
Yeah, he did open Satan's door on Christmas Day.
Breaking news, Jeffrey Epstein was working with the FBI. Duh, that makes total sense. The FBI is so corrupt. And so was Jeffrey Epstein. They're all in it together.
If he's working with the FBI, that means he's not dead and in protective custody. What do you think?
Ron Jeremy, Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres, Whoopi Goldberg, Lady Gaga, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend.
Denzel Washington is the one that shocked me. He puts on a good front morality.
So this is how your favorite celebrities really act when the cameras aren't rolling. It's disgusting. Ellen DeGeneres in front of the camera.
Please remember your celebrity etiquette.
And off camera. It took us 17 years to find out she was tyrannical, cruel, and humiliating towards her staff. James Corden in front of the camera.
I don't even like this guy.
And behind the scenes. There are countless videos proving he was rude, condescending, and insulting to servers and his team. Naomi Campbell in front of the camera. And off camera, Naomi had a 15-year-long career before videos and police reports surfaced, showing her throwing her phone at her assistant's head and screaming at her staff like a maniac. Ariana Grande in front of the camera. And behind the scenes.
Really?
With every passing year, the situation with Ariana Grande gets more alarming, but nobody says a thing. Christian Bale in front of the camera.
Christian Bale?
And off camera, there's an audio recording of him absolutely losing his shit on a crew member during a shoot, screaming insults non-stop for 4 minutes straight. All your favorite celebrities aren't who you think they are, and they're definitely not your friends.
No, they're not. They think they're gods.
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
If you could remember, struggle, tell me. Give me a date. Give me a date.
You know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can...
Man, this was so demonic. Trust God only.
Ariana Grande just told us that somebody is messing with her mental. Her up top, her brain. They wiping away her memory, y'all. So during the Oscars, a reporter asked Ariana Grande about her anticipated album deluxe to her 2024 album, Eternal Sunshine, where she responded and said she can't remember too much because she's gone through, or she went through, memory erasure. So I looked it up, and now it's kind of making sense. Maybe that's why her appearance is changing. That's probably why she was acting weird in them interviews with Cynthia Erivo. Y'all, this shit crazy, y'all. Look at this.
Yeah. We just watched this.
Her fans like, y'all slow. She just trolling. That's not the case. She can pass it off to y'all like she trolling, the fans. But I know what it is. It's crazy how they can do stuff right in people's face and they be so blind to see that they're telling the truth. She even put it in a music video. But they just like, oh, it's a music video. No, she's trying to explain to y'all what's going on. So in this music video, they're trying to spin it as something with love, like she's trying to erase a person from her memory. But that's not the case, y'all. They removed...
She's not a victim. She's starting to see it's not all sunshine and rainbows when dealing with the devil.
Demons are real. Watch to the end. This is not human.
Yeah. My name's Jared. What's your name? Marty. Marty? Marty. What's your last name? Mighty. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's your date of birth, bud? Mighty. You seem mighty. I see that. What's your date of birth?
You're gonna have to ask him when he comes.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to you.
I'm mighty.
I get that, but I'm not asking that right now. I'm asking you, when were you born?
Don't worry about that.
I do. I am worried.
See this?
Okay. Can you help me out here?
Call him. He will come.
I don't know who to call.
You right.
Okay.
Ask the officer.
I don't know that guy. I want to talk to you, man.
I am mighty. You were talking to me.
Okay. Will you help me out here? Will you tell me which date of birth is?
You don't have birthdays.
You don't have birth dates? Okay. Okay.
She said we don't have birthdays.
Where do you stay at? Where do you live?
Subscribe or follow for more.
Jesus is Lord. Amen.
Why do y'all think it is that these people are always paying homage to and glorifying vampires? You do know what vampires actually do, don't you? Where do you think that came from? Do you not think that maybe we have traditional vampires on this earth with us right now and we just don't know it? Because I guarantee you we do. And what's even crazier than that is, remember, she who played in the movie Wicked has been promoted and chosen to be Jesus Christ.
What?
Her glorifying this. And y'all think God's gonna be fine with that? No, he's not. But keep watching and you'll see what happens to America. And it wouldn't be the Oscars that them showing you right in your face what it is. Not Adam, it's the pyramid. The pyramid. But what I found extremely odd was they had the firefighters from LA on the stage, and the Oscars is for acting. And also, what is this circle in the background? Pretty irrelevant, right? Is it possible? A technological circle? And not just a circle, but yes, it's in a giant pyramid too. Is the all-seeing eye in our day and age technology? Like, you know, the AI on all of our phones that knows everything we ever do? Anyways, this is all satire.
Isaiah 5:20, which says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil."
Oh, this might be one of the most embarrassing government hacks we've seen in years. Yesterday morning, employees at the Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington, D.C. showed up for work, grabbed their coffee, sat down, and then bam! TVs throughout the building got hijacked at 9 a.m. and they started playing this bizarre AI-generated deepfake of Donald Trump kissing Elon Musk's feet with the words,
crazy.
"Long live the real king," scrolling across the screen. Yes. This is somehow real. The hack lasted several minutes, and because staff couldn't find a way to turn it off, they sent people to go around on every floor and just unplug the TVs. And while some found this stunt funny, with the freaking House Committee of Financial Services commenting on Twitter, "Not all heroes wear capes," others didn't quite see the humor, questioning how hackers were able to gain access to government building TVs. Now, eventually, the department's IT team managed to regain control, and the FBI is now investigating, but there is still no clue as to who is behind this.
This is the Clark family, and what happened to them was truly horrifying.
On July 16th, 1985, the Clark family vanished without a trace from their quiet suburban home in Detroit, Michigan. Police found no signs of forced entry, and their car was still parked in the driveway. 3 days later, neighbors noticed something unusual. A structure had appeared in the Clarks' backyard overnight. The first person to spot it was Gerald Thompson, the Clarks' next-door neighbor. He saw it in the early morning while walking his dog, and when police arrived, they discovered something that sent shockwaves through the entire city. The investigation revealed a mysterious, 6-foot-tall cube made entirely of bricks. When demolition crews attempted to take it down, they found that it was completely solid, except for a single hollow opening at the top. Ooh. But what investigators found inside the house was even more disturbing. In the bedroom of 15-year-old Anna Clark, officers discovered a terrifying handwritten note that read, "The angles are wrong, but Daddy says we'll fit." After reading the note, detectives grew suspicious and began digging through the belongings of the father, Richard Clark. That's when they uncovered this eerie diagram, a chilling sketch drawn by the late Mr. Clark.
Always watch the other person's eyes carefully. If someone has that look, you better run. Dead eyes, emotionless, blank stares are the hallmark of psychopaths and narcissists. As if there is no soul behind them, they lack empathy. Such people are master manipulators who make you believe you are special and then destroy you. A good example is Ted Bundy. Several people have noted that when he spoke or smiled, his eyes remained completely emotionless. The dead eye is otherwise typical of a sociopath. Second is the killer psychopathic eye. The killer psychopathic gaze. This rounded, inhuman gaze takes over. Such people want to dominate you. If you notice it on someone, break eye contact immediately. Protect your body, your soul, and move away. Third, a look of pain and pressure. Stress, excessive pressure, and internal struggles can lead to a look like this. For example, Michael Jackson. His lower eyelids drooped slightly, reflecting a kind of permanent sadness. Many people thought his eyes radiated pain and deep emotion, as if he was a lost soul in the spotlight. Fourth, this eye is similar to the previous one, yet there is a fearful uncertainty behind it. You have to be very careful. These eyes are trying to get rid of something. Fifth, the mysterious, secretive eyes. These eyes don't tell you everything. It's as if they are hiding a dark secret. It's no coincidence that Pennywise the Clown has those eyes. People like that put extra pressure on you to feel insecure. Sixth, the totally disillusioned, psychotic look. This look is no longer human. It is a mirror of absolute psychopathy. There is nothing to do but run. It is not for nothing that the eye is the mirror of the soul. Therefore,
so this racist tech CEO was caught on camera one day cursing out an Asian family. But although he actually thought people would agree with him, he couldn't have been more wrong. You see, Jordan Chan and her family had just been happily celebrating a birthday when they were shocked to suddenly hear "F you Asians." As it turns out, a drunk stranger named Michael Lofthouse apparently just couldn't stand to see Asians at a nice restaurant. So although Jordan's family had just been minding their own business, Michael just began yelling at them to go back to their own country. Even when Jordan started blatantly recording him, he still kept being racist. But that's when a waitress just simply had enough.
Asian piece of
Oh my God. Get out of here. You do not talk to our guests like that. Get out now. You are not allowed here ever.
Since Janica Cochran was disgusted by Michael, she didn't even hesitate to have him escorted off the property. But although Michael thought that was the end of the story, that's when Jordan's video just went viral. When people realized that Michael was actually the CEO of a tech company called Solidate, they just began flooding it with poor reviews and publicity. Although Michael finally tried apologizing, he was soon forced to delete all his social media and resign as CEO. And people also soon raised over $100,000 for Janica for her bravery.
Respect for that waitress.
Europe now feels completely different to what it felt like 4 weeks ago, and feels completely different because we're suddenly realizing that we have spent 80 years creating an entire system that totally depends on the United States. We're vulnerable to the US in every way. We've built our complete security and defense infrastructure in a little American cocoon. We buy American planes. We rely on American tech. The 7 largest tech companies in the world are American. And at no point in the last 70, 80 years, certainly has the British foreign policy elite, or at least since Suez, really questioned whether America isn't its ally. And, you know, we can get into that a little bit because, of course, that's central to the way that you and Tony Blair thought about George W. Bush, and it's central to the wars that I fought in Iraq and Afghanistan as part of American coalitions. And suddenly now we have entered a world in which Friedrich Merz is saying that America may be indifferent to us. If America shifts from being the unquestionable ally to something that is even neutral towards us, and in relation to Ukraine, and this is what's really brought it to the fore, potentially even slightly allying with Russia against Europe over Ukraine, then everything is suddenly turned on its...
Europe has had a great 80 years at the American people's expense? Wow.
The world has been reset multiple times. Each time the past was buried beneath layers of mud, sediment and ash. The Tartarian Empire, with its grand architecture and forgotten technologies, was likely one of the last remnants of the pre-reset world. But what came before Tartaria? The Titans, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki's first creations, the Vatican, the Pope, and hidden truths. Why does the Vatican hoard knowledge? Why are so many texts, fossils, and artifacts destroyed or hidden away? Because they know the Titans were real. They know the mountains are not mountains, the obelisks, the pyramids, the megalithic structures across the world. These were not just temples. They were markers, seals, warnings. CERN and the return of the Titans. The world is littered with the bodies of the fallen. The Titans, the Nephilim, the ancient gods, they did not disappear. They were petrified, buried beneath layers of earth. Their colossal forms mistaken for mountains, cliffs, and natural rock formations. The Bible, the Quran, Hindu, Vedas, and Greek mythology all tell of a time when giants ruled the earth. They were the offspring of fallen angels, the Anunnaki, watchers who defied divine law. When they were defeated, they were not simply slain. They were sealed within the earth itself. The evidence is everywhere. Across the world, geological formations defy logic, mountains shaped like sleeping figures, cliffs that resemble severed heads, valleys that look like the rib cages of unfathomably large creatures. Mud fossils, petrified flesh, and ancient structures point to something massive, something hidden. Devil's Tower, USA. Scientists call it a volcanic plug, but what if it's not? The massive hexagonal columns look exactly like the fibrous structure of a giant fossilized tree or the tendons of a massive limb. The Sleeping Giant, Canada, a mountain range that perfectly outlines the shape of a humanoid figure, as though a massive being was laid to rest and covered in earth. The Giant of Atacama, Chile, a massive geoglyph resembling a humanoid figure in a desert known for its strange, otherworldly history. Were they once living beings? Nimrod, the ancient king and likely Nephilim descendant, was said to have been turned to stone. Adam's Bridge, India and Sri Lanka ancient Hindu texts speak of a bridge built by the gods. Now satellite images show an underwater formation too precise to be natural. The fossilized finger and giant hand, Egypt and Nevada. A petrified human-like finger over 15 inches long was discovered in Egypt. In the Nevada desert, a massive stone hand emerges from the earth, severed at the wrist. The CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, is not just searching for the God particle, it is a key, a device built to break the barriers between worlds. Titans were sealed for a reason. What happens if CERN's experiments succeed? What happens if they wake up? The final question, are they still alive? Petrification does not mean death. What if they are dormant? What if they still dream beneath the earth? Legends speak of a time when the old gods will rise again and the mountains will walk once more.
Love her. And you know, why they are so afraid of us knowing this truth? What do they gain from us not knowing?
And we have all the oxygenated atmosphere. That's why we had giants. And that's why we also had these giant trees. That's why we had the sequoias. And Joe cut me off on the giants, but you can dig down there. You can see it in the 1800s newspapers. Throughout the 1800s and early 1900s, all around America, farmers were digging up giant bones. And they sent hundreds and hundreds of skulls and all these bones to the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian made a huge apology for losing or destroying all these bones. They're all gone. There's no more of these bones left. Where are the giant bones? They're probably hidden somewhere. But giants existed. It's known, it's a fact. Yep. People lived longer in the old days than we do now. It's a fact. And the reason I know it's a fact is because there's evidence. And the other reason I know it's a fact because I can do it today.
They're Nephilims.
Have you guys ever heard of Doggerland?
No.
Doggerland.
Dude, this is crazy. Okay, so you know how United Kingdom is an island, right?
Yeah.
There was a time where the North Sea, all that was land.
What are you talking about?
And it wasn't found until recently, like less than 100 years ago. Some ship people were just going through and they had their nets down and they pull up and it's this like harpoon type of thing.
Oh.
And it's like metal. And so they're like, what in the world? And so they dig down deep. It connected everything from Denmark to France, everywhere, all the way around Ireland. And it wasn't until this huge tsunami, 60-foot wave that came from all the glaciers melting. Absolutely massive, but it just existed there. It was lush forest, woolly mammoths and everything. And they're still discovering more and more. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That's
and the fact that we don't know about that, that's nuts. It's literally, they call it Europe's Atlantis.
Welcome to Doggerland.
It's a really cool name.
That's wild.
Isn't that fun?
Scotland used to be an ice sheet.
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
We are the first what? Photo by NASA. Okay. You know what? I'm going to show it to my cat, and he's going to make him the first cat in history to witness sunset on Mars.
This lady in Congress apparently was suing Starbucks because they weren't listing the ingredients on their drinks.
Oh, gosh.
And the pumpkin spice latte had the active ingredient of ammonia in it.
Oh!
Wow. They use it for food coloring.
No
To make it orange. Yeah, so...
There's gotta be a better way.
In Europe, they list the ingredients and they use, I believe, carrot or beets or something. It's like a natural food coloring. But the U.S. Starbucks was using an ingredient that included ammonia in the pumpkin spice lattes to make them orange looking.
What are we doing?
I know, man.
I wonder why everyone's dying of cancer. Because we're drinking ammonia.
Yeah, and that's on purpose. That has to be on purpose.
Yeah, because it's the cheaper option.
And there's no way they just cut it out. It's the middle of fall. You know how many millions of gallons they have of that stuff, probably?
Oh my gosh.
I got pumpkin spice lattes.
Remember that clip of George Bush Sr. throwing up at the thing?
Yeah.
Did you see the video clip, the news clip that happened afterwards?
I think so.
It was really weird. I watched this video about it, but they said, one, it was super weird that when he started throwing up, his wife put a towel over his face.
Yeah.
Like, and so he's just like...
Lots of stuff isn't allowed in Europe from America.
People are shocked after finding out that chewing gum is made of plastic. Check this out. Believe it or not, chewing gum is made of a plastic called polyvinyl acetate, which is also used in glue sticks, plastic bags, and plastic bottles. But you're probably wondering, why do companies use plastic inside their pieces of chewing gum? Including the plastic inside the chewing gum actually makes it more chewy, and believe it or not, in the ingredients on the back of the packet, it won't actually say plastic, it will say gum base instead. But it is important to note that, as we all know, plastic doesn't break down naturally, and it just breaks down into what we call microplastics. And these microplastics from the chewing gum are so small you would never really realise that they're there. They'll then go into your body, into your system, and then they could cause issues further or later on in life. Now, more and more people in the UK and worldwide for that matter are becoming more eco-friendly and are switching to plastic-free chewing gum. Obviously, this is better for the environment, and obviously people chewing plastic really isn't that natural. So people, let me know your thoughts. Did you know this already? Would you still eat chewing gum after finding out it does include plastic as an actual ingredient, which people are actually chewing on?
That's why Singapore banned chewing gums ages ago.